Hello there, guys. Welcome to Live with Lex. This is my first time going live on this channel without a host or a co-host, sorry. So I apologize if this is a bit off the cuff. It's a last minute decision that I decided to do. Um, but we're going to cover a couple of things with you guys today. For those that are watching it live or those that come back to watch on the repeat, if this is something you would like me to do at least once every couple of weeks, then I'll do it. But again, it just depends on what I've got to talk about this week. So we're going to cover a couple of topics today. We're going to do some shout outs. We're going to talk about some podcasts. We're going to talk about the upcoming episodes of my series Capture the Unknown. We've got 3 episodes left until the season, well, for the season finale, which is probably looking to be about, I think the next one is a 3-parter. Then we've got a 4-part series coming out, and then potentially a collaboration for the season finale. So we're going to dive into that today. But before we say all of that, I would like to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel so far or follows me on any of my social media. It's been a big few months of doing this. I started in September, and the support I've received while doing it has been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you very much for that. Um, but I don't want to take too much of your time. It is getting quite late for me in this country anyway. But I would like to say, oh, hello, Lexi. Nice to see you. So, in terms of things I want to talk about first, we're going to start off with the last video that I did. So, the last video, if you didn't see it, was a bit more of a rant than anything else. It was me giving my opinion on something that's very important to myself, a lot of my colleagues, and my friends and my family who have all seen the video as well. So, online over the last few weeks, I think for the last 3 weeks, there's been this whole movement by women who have been victims of men behavior. And I was sick and tired of seeing all the comments that certain men were making online about this movement. And if you watch that video, you can see I was rather annoyed about it. But I would like to say thank you for the reception on that video. I know it's probably not the best thing that no one wanted a man to come forward and say something about it. I don't think it's I mean, they want us to help and keep ourselves in check, but I don't know if it was my place to say anything. But I felt like under the circumstances, something had to be said. It wasn't something that was being covered a lot in our community. I don't know how worldwide this spread. I know it was huge in the UK. I don't know if it's reached anywhere else yet. So I just want to say thank you for the reception that video got. I've got some messages from some of you guys, uh, all of you giving me great support for it, and so, thankfully no one's come across and called me an idiot or had a go at me for doing it. So I just wanted to quickly say thank you for that, because it's very close to home, and it's never nice when someone is taken from this earth too soon, especially by someone in law enforcement. So I just wanted to reach out, especially to that family as well, and just let them know that there's a lot of people on their side, and to all the ladies that have been affected by behavior of men, that I'm on your side and I stand with you, always will stand with you. um, so yeah, that's just wanted to get that out of the way, and thank you for that. So we'll talk about the important stuff first. We're going to get on to the Capture the Unknown, which we are pretty much almost done with the first season. I was planning on doing 13 investigations. At the moment, I think we're going to cut it short to 10, just depending on how much longer I'm going to be locked up for. So, with this pandemic that's gone on, especially in the UK, we've had really, really tight restrictions. We've been locked down for been a year since the first lockdown. We're in lockdown 3, so it's been a toughie to get out and get about and do some stuff without getting stopped by the police every 10 seconds or risking having my equipment taken off me because I've breached the restrictions. So I'm glad I didn't have to do that. But it does look like everything is coming to an end rather soon. A lot of places, I believe, everywhere in the UK should be opening up back as normal from the 12th of April, which means I'll be going back to my other job. So for a bit, but I'm rather excited. It's been good that it's finally coming to a close. It's been a very, very long year, and I'm hoping this is the last of it. There's a lot of investigations and trips I really want to go on. There's a lot of um, my Parachills family I want to go and meet. And just generally want to get out of the house. It's been a bit horrible being stuck in here. So I've been planning over the last few weeks these next 3 episodes. We start filming the next series next week. It's called Clua Park. It is apparently haunted park, not too far from where I live. And my buddy, who's been in a few of my videos, he is my resident skeptic, who's taken a bit more of an approach into the paranormal since he's been doing videos with me. He went down there the other night to do his own video, and apparently he got some good results. I'm waiting for his video to come out. He won't share any secrets with me yet, but he said it's going to be a good one. He only did the one night. I'm doing a daytime and a nighttime investigation, and then a recap of everything. So that's going to be a good one. But why the reason why we wanted to do this one, not because it's massively reported as being haunted. There's been a couple of people that say it is, but we wanted to do it because I remember when I was probably 19, maybe 20, we used to hang out in this park all the time for no particular reason. It was a quiet spot to hang out. There's a river that runs right through it, or behind the tree, sorry. So we had to walk around the outside through the trees, and you can get to the river that flows through. And we thought we found a shallow grave dug there. Now, big as young as we were, a lot younger, we were a little bit trying to find the we would say scared, nervous. We didn't even want to dig it up. We didn't. I don't think we reported it either, so it could potentially still be there. But we didn't want to bother the police with something that we just thought we were overreacting. It's just the way the ground looked compared to the surrounding area. So we figured we'll go and do an investigation there, to see if anything points to something happening there, if there's any trapped spirits there. But it is an incredibly freaky little forest. So it's quite, like I said, it's very local to me. It's not the best place that I'm going to be doing this season, but it is a place I've been wanting to do for a while. My friend's been trying to talk me into doing it, so I've decided that yeah, the next series will be filmed there. So I hope you guys are excited for that. Filming starts next week. I'm probably looking to start releasing that series the week after, depending on how long it takes to edit. So fingers crossed we'll have another investigation out there. And then, oh, hey Eli, thank you. So that's that episode. Now, the one after that, which was originally going to be scheduled for my season finale, we have decided to change that because we'll get into why in a moment. But this is going to be the one after this forest. But the reason I've had to put this one off for so long is I do need the businesses to be open as usual to do it. There's a inn in Colnbrook in the UK known as the Ostrich Inn. And if you're from the UK or you watch the UK's haunted TV show Most Haunted, which has been airing, I think, over the last 15 years, I grew up watching it, and they're not the most reliable source for paranormal information. They've been proved to be faking possessions with Derek Okora and all this kind of stuff. So I want to give some credibility back to that building. It has a really rich history in what's gone on there. If you've ever heard of Sweeney Todd, the demon barber who used to kill his victims, and then the floorboard would move out and they'd drop down to the cooking room of a pie shop and they'd be served into pies. It's a bit of a grim history of that, but it's kind of like that. So I think it's the 17th century. It's very old. The landlord and landlady at the time, they used to lure rich people to stay in their places. And in one room, the bed would lift up and slide the bodies down. So they'd kill the rich people, rob them blind, and just drop the bodies underneath to dispose of them as they would. And that went on for a while. They had, I can't remember off the top of my head, quite a few victims. I've got a whole file based on this, which I'll be going through in the video. So I don't want to give out too much right now. But Most Haunted went there and it was an active place. But because of the way that they presented themselves and the fact that it's come to light that they weren't legitimate, that we've decided to go back and give that venue its due, and put it back on the map as a paranormal hotspot, because it should be, apparently. So we're looking forward to doing that, and that one's going to be over 2 nights. So it's not something we would usually do. Usually we stay overnight. We do an overnight, but we wouldn't do it more than once. But because this is an inn, we wanted to do it in a certain way. So not only we can get mostly in, but we also wanted to do a night in a normal room, and then we wanted to go do the second night, and I'll stay in the most haunted room by myself and see what happens. So the room that had the bed lifting up. So I don't know if it still does that. I'm hoping that the floor still has the patterns around it or something. They've probably renovated it 100 times since then, so very doubtful. But I'm really looking forward to it. The history is really rich. If you go to their website, they actually mention all this stuff on the website, so it's very well known. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And because it was a 2-nighter, that's looking to be a 4-part series. Again, depending on the evidence collected. So it could be shorter, could be longer, but preferably don't want to do more than 4 because it is only 2 nights. So again, that's one that I'm probably one of the biggest videos I'm ever going to do that gives me this level of excitement for. We've heard of haunted buildings, I've been to haunted castles, and I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just because it was a family run or a family style B&B, and the history is that grim. You just wouldn't expect it. So looking forward to that, and I hope you guys will enjoy that when it comes out. So the third one, and which is looking to be the season finale at the moment, this will be my first ever collaborative investigation video. And this is hi David. This came from an interview I did with Brian from Hunterphobia. We run a show every Sunday on another channel called Through the Lens with Brian and Lex. And last weekend we had the pleasure of having GSI Paranormal on the show. We had John and Ralph, and absolutely phenomenal guys. I had a really good time talking to them. And if you haven't checked out their content, please do. I am going to have to. I think I forgot to put the link in the description, so I'll do that once I finish this live. Or you can look them up on Twitter. They've got there, or again, just search them up on YouTube. GSI Paranormal, GSI Investigation, sorry, and they're absolutely incredible. But I had a good chat with them. They're from my country. They're UK based, so this was a really good chance to get a collaboration going. So I've mentioned to them, and that if they'd ever heard of the Underground City in Manchester, to which they haven't. A couple of people have been there, and I'm surprised I hadn't heard of it. They're closer to it than I am. But we're going to go up and do that together. I'm currently in the planning stages for that. Again, it just depends on when I can do the previous episode and get that done first. But we're going to be heading up to Manchester, and we found out there's a grate in the floor by a church that you go under, and they've got the old archways. With all the toilets and stuff are still there. I don't know how much stuff's still there, but the buildings are there. And it's like a forgotten city. And my sister lives in Manchester. She's never heard of it. Her husband has never heard of it, and he's been there for years. I think he's a local to Manchester, so it's quite, excuse the pun, quite an underground place. So I'm really looking forward to doing it. Now, another UK YouTuber did go, is called Nightscape, who I don't think does anything paranormal really. He climbs scaffoldings and stuff like that, and climbs really tall buildings and escapes the police on YouTube quite a lot. It's quite entertaining. But he went down on a whim, met up with a group and went down just to have a walk around and have a look. There's something screaming in the background, or there's horrible noise in the background that they keep hearing. And I think that's what turned me into wanting to do it. I do believe Exploring with Fighters have been there. But they had a relatively simple experience. Nothing really bad happened to them. So I'm on the fence, but because it's an underground city, no one really knows it's there. I figured if I'm in the UK, why not? There's a lot of investigators across the world that don't get the chance to do underground cities. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do another one. I don't really know if there's any other underground cities anywhere. If there is, please let me know in the chat or send it to me on Twitter and I'll look into it. So that one, because it's a collaborative video, I'm thinking of ending my season on that note. So it's looking like a good couple of months of exciting videos on its way. Again, it's a slow recourse coming back from this pandemic. So providing everything stays on course and we can just keep going out, then I should be able to pump out a hell of a lot more videos than I have done over the last 3 months. So again, I thank those who have subscribed to me, who have stuck with me, because I haven't been putting out too much. I think the last investigation, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure was the 3 a.m. book challenge, which was 3 parts. And for those who did watch that series, I hope you enjoyed it. It was again, it wasn't meant to be a series. We were just going to do a Red Book game for a video, and because we were getting so much activity at the end, because don't think I even realized the time we were recording for like 3 hours. So when we did like the EVP and the voice recording, we weren't expecting to get anything at all. So that's why it was split into 2 parts. And then because of the activity on the EVP stuff, I decided to do a third one to double check if everything had gone away. Because again, messing with these kind of games without knowing what they are could potentially be very dangerous. So we wanted to make sure the house was clear. And again, it was a very uneventful video. But again, I said this when I started doing YouTube, that I'm not going to stop an investigation and not post the video because nothing happens, because I'd rather you guys see how that investigation ended. That okay, we potentially summoned something for a ritualistic game, and then spoke to it quite a lot in part 2. So I don't want to leave off on that and be like, oh, just put on Twitter, oh, nothing really happened, so that's that. Or I didn't want to do what other people would probably do in my situation, is invent something. And I've always wanted to put out that I'm a really honest person, and I really wanted to make sure that you guys see that as well. So that's why I put that video up. and for the most part, it got a decent amount of reception. For the not for the people that did see it, I've had good feedback on it. They like the way that I filmed it. They appreciate the idea that I still put that video up despite getting no evidence. Um, so again, I promise that I'm always going to try and remain as honest as I can on this channel, and not fabricate evidence because I'm not about that. So that's it for the end of season 1. So if you guys are, oh, hang on, sorry, David, I'll get to that in a second. So if you guys really enjoyed any of the content so far, thank you so much for for liking those and watching those. And I promise you, there's a lot more stuff coming. So please stick with me even more because I'm excited. I'm hoping you guys get excited too. And I'll touch it briefly on season 2 in just a moment. So what was that, David? Sorry. Portland, Oregon has an underground city. Is it a big city? Because like the one in Manchester is not massive. It sort of looks like a unused railway station that's now been buried under. So I need to look into some history about it. But how big is this underground city in Portland? And while I wait for you to answer that, I'll touch up on season 2. We've got some big plans for season 2. And season 2 is going to be a lot better production than what I've been doing on the investigations on season 1. Now, season 2 it's going to be a lot more televised format. So there will be, between pieces of investigation footage, there will be like cuts to myself or my team talking to the camera about what they found. And we wanted to do this kind of way to showcase why we do certain things. You'll see in session season 2, we're going to bring a lot more tests and techniques into the game, which a lot of people haven't seen before, or if they have, don't use anymore because it's quite basic. We've got a bell that takes a lot of effort to ring. We're going to bring that. We're going to bring like a ball to put on top of stairs, bells to put around stuff. So we're going to go back to basics a little bit and stop relying too much on the technological side of this investigation. And that's only because technology can go teach you so much, especially now that there's a lot of stuff that I use that's like apps and stuff like that. And sorry guys, just got a reply to subboard here. There we go. And yeah, so a lot of the stuff that I use the Necrophonic app, which is one of my favorite apps. Paralis I use, GhostTube SLS, Spirit Talker I think it's called. So I use a lot of like app stuff. I don't actually have an SB box yet. I do want to get one. I'm looking to get the SB11 or the SB7, sorry. I've had some good reviews on those. I want to get REM pods. So there's going to be a nice new batch of stuff coming out. Still undecided on dowsing rods. There's a potential I might bring them just to have a go, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's going to be a lot more of a documentary style technique, but we're not going to lose any of the investigation stuff that we do. It's just going to be done in a much better manner. And hopefully alongside that, we'll get some new merch lines coming up as well for anyone that wants to get those. Just looking to find a website that doesn't charge t-shirts at £35, because I think for a t-shirt it's quite pricey. So I'm just doing a little bit of shop searching and designing at the moment. So hopefully we'll get some new stuff out and you guys can pop up and grab some of those. And thank you for replying to me there, David. So it's several acres. Blimey. I'm gonna look that up tonight and have a look, because I'd love to go. I mean, that'd be huge to investigate. If it's several acres, you want to bring a couple teams down, maybe. Wow, I'm definitely going to look into that. So that being said, so that's all I'm going to say on season 2 at the moment. I'm not going to give away any of the locations, just because I don't want to spoil the fun yet. I'll be doing some bits. I'd probably drop some location names at some point once the filming has begun. But at the moment, don't want to take too much of the surprise element out of what we're doing. So that's that. So I hope you guys are as excited for that as I am. So next up, we're going to talk a little bit now about my show that I run on Sundays. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen it. I do run a talk show about the paranormal, usually with a special guest every single Sunday at 8 p.m. GMT, or at the moment 4 p.m. EST. And that is with Brian from Hunterphobia. And so far, we're really enjoying doing the show. We've had some great guests on. We actually had the CEO of Paraflix in. If I'm assuming everyone knows who Paraflix is by now. This new big streaming paranormal service. If you're not subscribed to it already, you should, because it's fantastic. And I believe that if you go to Paraflix's your Twitter account, you still might be able to get your discount code for the first 3 month subscription, which is 10% off from the last, from what I said on Sunday. I think it was 10% off the first 3 months, which is a great deal. And again, it's just a great thing to sign up to. It is going to change the game for paranormal content, I believe. YouTube, we are competing with 38 million other YouTube channels, and it's hard to, I don't think you're ever going to get the numbers that people used to in the early days of YouTube. So it's great. It's a great little platform to get your content out there. And again, they look after you very well. I'm not a member of them just yet, but I am subscribed to them. So I do watch the content on there. So if you haven't already, please do that. But Through the Lens, again, this is a lovely talk show that me and Brian do. And the idea is to not just help people out, but we also want to give people the chance to come on and be a bit more give them a relaxed environment to just talk about what they want to do, what they're currently doing, what they've done, get a general insight into who they are as a person, as well as discussing certain elements of the paranormal. We like to find out that, I like to find out everyone's paranormal origin story, because everyone's got one, and what's great about them is everyone's is different. We've all experienced something different in the paranormal world, and that's what's put us here in the first place. And I love hearing those stories, and I don't know if anyone else does, but I absolutely love those stories. Hello, V. And so if you haven't seen my show already, please come over to the Through the Lens with Brian and Lex channel. There is a playlist in this channel which has the videos in, so you can click on that to get to that channel and give it a watch next Sunday. And I hope you really enjoy it and share that around. And if you would like to appear on the show, please message me on Twitter with your YouTube account so I can have a look at your channel, and we'll get chatting, and then we'll put you on the show. There's no obligations. It's just, please, if you want to be on it, I can get you on it, and get your videos out there for more people. That's how I met GSI, and that's how we've got a great collaboration on the way. So it's just a great way to connect a bit more. So that's all I'm going to say on the show. There's not too much more to it other than that. So we're going to get to a couple of shout outs here. I put a tweet up earlier today. I don't know if people saw that. I put 2 tweets out about a couple of podcasts that I'd like to listen to, and this is something I haven't been listened to podcasts for a very long time. It's something I've recently started doing. There's 2 at the moment that really stand out to me. I'm going to talk about them both in a moment. Hello, PPR. And these podcasts are the reason why I want to put this tweet out, because I'm looking for other podcasts as well. So if anyone in the chat or anyone who comes back and watches this after it's gone out has a paranormal podcast or cryptid podcast, UFOs, anything like that, if you know anyone that is doing a podcast like that, please send them a link to me. Comment on my Twitter page, DM me, comment in here. I just want to get a bit more of a broad horizon on some of these podcasts, because some of the shows are fantastic that I've seen. And I'm going to talk about 2 now. So one of them is in the chat, is Live Paranormal with V. This is a show that I probably listened to for I think it's 2 months now that I've been listening to this show. And first of all, V is an amazing host, puts on a great show, and she's a very lovely person to talk to. When I found out about the show, I think I was already following her on Twitter, and she was asking for people's stories, like what's happened to you in the paranormal, what's the worst, scariest thing. So I was like, I'll put my story in the DM, see if she'll use it. Sorry. And she did, and I was actually genuinely surprised. I never thought my story would make it onto the podcast. So I've always been thankful for the fact that she did that, and I've been subscribed to that podcast ever since, and I'm going to keep doing it. The show is fantastic. She's got a great personality. The guests that comes on are fantastic. They really know how to keep you interested through the whole thing, and it's not too. I can't remember the average. Can't really remember the length of your shows generally, but they're not so long that you start to switch off. There are some shows that are like 2-3 hours long, and you're just struggling to keep up with it, or you need to find time. Now, I actually listen to this podcast while I'm doing my editing or when I'm doing some work for Parachills. So that's when I choose to listen to podcasts. Sometimes when I go to bed, just I don't like falling asleep to silence, so sometimes I'll smack a podcast on. So if you haven't checked out Life Paranormal with the link to the website for that um, podcast is in the description below, as well as their V's Twitter page. So I urge everyone who isn't already, go and take a listen to that and give V a follow, and let her know what you think of the show as well. She values all the feedback, and if you can leave a review on it, that'd be amazing as well. I think she just put up a tweet the other day that said she's done 1,000 plays. So massively congratulations to you on that. You're very deserving of it. I think you're fantastic, and I would love to be on your show. I know that we've spoken about it before, so hopefully we can get something cooking, and I'll pop in and say hello. So, uh, yeah, so thank you so much for that, V. And yeah, keep up the great work. And thank you. Yeah, there we go. Very chilling story. If you guys haven't heard my story, it's on that podcast, so or some part of it. So I would recommend give that a listen, and then head over to my channel and find my Lex Files video about my first experience, and it puts that experience into a lot greater detail with some imagery, and you can really see what really happened there. Via did some research on what happened to me and feels that she has some answers. So I'm looking forward to hopefully finding out that stuff one day, which would be really great. In terms of like, that was probably the most scared I've ever been, and bear in mind that was like I was 17. That's 11 years ago, and I started doing this last year. So that stuck with me for a long time, but I just never was brave enough to go and do this. Now I am, thankfully. I don't know if it's the beard. Growing the beard helped, but definitely not as scared as I used to be. So definitely check those out. Um, and then the second podcast that I wanted to mention today, again, the links are in the description below, is Ontario's Most Haunted, with host Brandon Chiasson and Ashley Spurrell. And they have another host who's occasionally on. I can't remember her last name, but her name's Kathy. The links to those guys and that show is also in the description below. Now, this is up there with the show. This is one of my favorites. I don't think I ever missed it since I started watching it. And what's good about this one is the chemistry between the two hosts, Ashley and Brandon, is undeniably evident, and that's what makes the show work. It's the way they bounce off each other. That I don't think it's scripted, which is really good. I don't know if V's is scripted either. I find that if it's more natural, it works better. So that's a really good thing that OMH has. It doesn't seem scripted at all, but it's funny, informative, freaky at times. But they really understand the paranormal and the whole world that comes with it, and I think that's really important. So again, please click that link down below to listen to OMH, share them around, give them a review as well, because these two podcasts deserve to pop, they deserve to shine. I don't think there's any paranormal podcasts that are in the top 10 podcasts of the world, so it'd be great to see these two enter that. And that's pretty much what I want to say on the podcast. But like I said, if anyone has one they want to send me, I'm more than happy to take a listen to it. Like, these are sometimes these are my favorite pastimes. Just listen to people speak about their experiences, or using Reddit or another website to get people's actual stories, and just listen to how different it is. Some of these people's stories, they don't do investigations like we do. They don't look into it. It's happened to them and they've just missed it, and they're like, I believe in it, but I'm out. I don't want to, and that's what's interesting, because what makes the difference between them not wanting to find out what it is, and then there's us that are doing everything we can to find it. And that's another reason why I find this so interesting. So please send those links to me. And again, if you have them, I will promote them for you on my Twitter and my YouTube anytime. So feel free to send them to me. I agree, David. I actually can't wait for on-site investigations. I think the time is coming soon. We are so close to coming out of this pandemic. As long as people listen to what's going on and follow the rules, and hopefully we can wave this behind us. I never thought I'd have to live through a pandemic virus in my lifetime, but we've done it so far. So far we're still all right. So now, with podcasts out of the way, not too much more I really want to talk about. Firstly, I want to talk about Parachills. This will probably be the last main topic before the questions. Now, Parachills is the company I work for. I'm the vice president of them, and I have been working with Parachills since September. I say working with, I joined the family in September. Me and Chris, the head of it, really good friends. Like, I think he called me a brother on Twitter earlier today as well. So we are very close friends, and we are trying to actively work and make this thing better. So I'm assuming by now you know what Parachills is. We've done so many videos on it. We do a lot, multiple live shows on the channel, which is linked down below. And it's just, when I started doing this in September, I didn't think I'd find the community as welcoming as I did. I thought it'd be a lot harder to get some. I thought it'd be really hard to get into, the community spirit of it on Twitter and online. I've never been a big social media person in terms of being a part of something. I've always just posted on my own. I think I've deleted Twitter 6, 7 times, and now I use it all the time. And so I was wanted to, like, Parachills is one of the big reasons for that. I met Chris by accident. I think I commented on Huntophobia's Suicide Forest post, and Chris then got in touch with me there. So that was absolutely probably that was life changing for me to be part of this family. It's turned into such a great opportunity, not only as a YouTuber but as a person in what I want to do. I've been struggling to deal with the idea of what I want to do is as a career or in my life. And now I've run a bar and it's great. It's good fun, but it's not something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. At some point I'm going to be too old. I don't like dealing with hospitality customers in general. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not, but it's not. It's never been my true calling. I started doing hospitality to pay for music software. I just ended up being pretty good at it and sticking through it, and now part of the management team. So when I joined Parachills, it was a massive, massive breath of fresh air to see this different side of what I can do, and it's something that I actually love doing. Didn't think I didn't think this hobby would turn into something that I want to do as a career. And I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about paranormal investigations, and I think I've got a lot of learning to do. I'm very new at this. You can see from the way that I film my videos. You can see from how I present myself on camera. I'm still very new, and every day that I go and do a filming session or I do a live show, or I critique other videos, because as we all know on Parachills Live on Tuesdays, I put me in the panels. We discuss certain clips that are sent into us, and we give our view if they're real or not. Now, even if we do think it's fake, we do give it, we give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not outrightly going to call someone false, but unless it's really obviously fake, like some of them are. But it's a really good show and discussion, and that's what I used to do before I started making them. Is I used to watch paranormal videos and try and debunk them myself. And for some reason, it again just piqued my interest, and I have to thank Mindseed TV for really pushing my interest into the paranormal. They were one of my biggest influences into doing this, as well as Twin Paranormal. They're probably my favorite paranormal channel at the moment, and really lost my train of thought here. I cannot remember where I was. Oh yeah, cool. Struggling to find my place. There we go. So I've really come back. It says joining Parachills has done this for me. It's put me in a position where I can meet some great people. I've made some really, really good friends. Actually, scratch that. I've made some really great family members, and that's one thing I pride myself on. I'm such a people person. I'm such a socialite, and we've got so much in common with everyone who does this because paranormal stuff is such a big interest. So I'm thankful every day for it. I think this is where I'm going to be doing stuff like this for the rest of my life. I think I'm sold. I don't think I'm going to come out of it. I've given up other hobbies loads of times before because they never really keep my interest. But this has been something that I absolutely adore doing. I love learning new things. I love finding new ways of testing. And some of these locations you get to go to are absolutely stunning, even if they are graffitied and almost being torn down and whatnot. It's stepping backwards in time a little bit and seeing a bit of history. And people that do know me personally or have seen some of the other shows I've done, I'm very, very into like the history of stuff. So it ticks all the boxes. And again, I think I'm good at it. I hope you guys think I'm good at it too. I really hope you are enjoying what I'm doing and what I will be doing. So that's just what I want. And I just wanted to say a big shout out and thank you to Chris from Parachills, our big cheese, for the video he did on the live earlier. He came out and said a lot of stuff which I don't think he had to say, and was probably very difficult for him to say it. So I want to commend him for that. And if you haven't seen it, please go and watch Parachills' last live on exclusive, and just hear him out. I think he made some. Not only did he talk about some really deep personal stuff, but he did talk about some stuff in the community that we've acknowledged, we've seen, accidentally been a part of, and wants to make that change. And I think it's fantastic. So that's yeah. So well done, Chris, and thank you for that. So I think that's going to draw us to a close on topics. If anyone in the chat has any questions for me, please fire away, and I will answer them as honestly as I can. And we'll do this for about 10 minutes or so. Any questions? Oh, there was a shout out I forgot as well. I forgot to shout out Alan's vlogs. Um, he did a showcase video for me not too long ago, and I think he's now rebranded his channel to do that. Again, I put his link in the description below as well. And what a fantastic guy, going out of his way to showcase anyone who wants him to do it. It's absolutely phenomenal. And again, proud to call him part of the family. So I was wanting to shout him out as well. Please take a look at those showcases and follow him on Twitter as well. The link is in the description down below. Again, have you seen an apparition? Now, David, this is good that you asked this question, because technically, yes, the first experience I ever had, I think, can be considered an apparition. I'll go into it briefly. I don't want to say too much because, again, if you want to listen to the whole story, I've got a video on it, and V has a podcast with me of the story. So, I did see what I believe to be the eyes of a demon in black smoke appear in front of me when I was 17 in an asylum. And I didn't even believe in the paranormal back then. I was just there taking photos of an old abandoned building. And then that happened. So, yes, I have. And I'd be interested in it, and if you can tell me a bit more about what you saw, because you've just said that you've seen one too. Thank you so much, V. Just waiting for David's response there. So if I'm quiet, that's why. Running out of things to say. I will say, if what was I say? What's your favorite haunted locations, guys? If you could pick one in the world, where would you want to go? I'd love to hear that. Was at the Alamo. Saw what was an actor. It was not. What did it look like? Was it like a white clouded apparition, or like a dark shadow, or was it like detailed? Because I've seen, read some stories about like apparitions sometimes recreating their last moments. So if we look at, I think it's Gettysburg. If we think about like people see the soldiers in uniforms, like in a loop. So I don't know if that was similar to something you saw. And thank you to Weird Distractions Podcast on Twitter for sending me their podcast link. I will be checking into that later on tonight. Thank you. Oh man, that must have been crazy to see. Detailed right down to the period of clothing. That's crazy. I never had that, unfortunately. Like ever since that last one I saw, I've never seen a detailed apparition yet. But I've seen like before I was investigating, I've seen like shadows and stuff like that, but I've never seen one as of now. I want to go investigate Salem, Massachusetts someday. See, Salem is another massive one that I hear quite a lot of people say, and I think again I think it's not even if it wasn't witches. I think it's just because of what happened. Like, if let's say it wasn't witch trials, but it was just people getting burnt in general, then again that kind of raw history is so powerful to go and visit. And I don't know how I don't know if you're like me, but I get weird feelings. Like when I was in that asylum, when I first saw my apparition, like going into the kids ward, I felt it. That the atmosphere was completely different. So I wonder if it's going to be the same in that location. Hello, Chris. Lovely to have you in the chat room. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. For those who don't know, Age of Darkness is my buddy Chris from Scotland, a member of our family, and I've been on his show a couple of times, on his channel a couple of times, and I would definitely recommend checking him out. Great stuff, great guy, and fantastic with casework. I agree with you, David. That's creepy. See, Gettysburg again. I'd love to go there because some of the videos are phenomenal. But now there's a lot of people that are now replicating them. There's a video that we actually reviewed on Parachills Live on Tuesday, not this week's one, last week's episode, where someone actually said this video is from Gettysburg, and they weren't even in Gettysburg. They're at a completely different part. They just put Gettysburg in the title because they know that um, that's going to be like a clickbait title, and that's really upsetting when people do stuff like that. Yes, you do love your work. That is true. Just followed you on Twitter, David. So not going to be on too much longer, I don't think. Any more questions? Any more comments? Hey, Alex, do you want to come on my show tomorrow night to chat about ghosts and stuff? What day is it tomorrow? It's Saturday, isn't it? I will message you. I'm pretty sure I'm free to do so. So let me know the time again. And yeah, actually, would love to as well because I need to answer the other person in your chat room the last time I was on. Question it. Gave me a question, and I do need to go back and answer that, but I can't remember the house she asked me to look at. So if you remember, Chris, that'd be great. Oh, I can't remember the name. It's where the daughter killed her family, I think. But I just can't remember what the house was called. Oh, jeez, my memory is shot. Thank you very much for joining today, V. It's been an absolute pleasure. And again, thank you for the great show. Enjoy your dinner. Chris, please tell me you remember what this house was called that she wanted me to look at. I cannot remember it for the life of me. Now I feel really bad. Let's just put the last chance for questions. Definitely gonna have to go back and look at your live again and see if I can remember what the house is called. All right, leave it. We'll leave this at probably probably 5 more minutes, and see if anyone else joins to do any questions. If not, we'll sign off there. But anyone who's in the room, I hope you enjoyed this little chat today. If there's something you want me to do every now and then, please let me know and I'll do it. It's not very often I get to do lives on my own and just talk about stuff. Usually I'm on a show or editing, so it's actually quite nice to actually come on and just talk to people. And if this is something you'd like me to do a bit more of, please let me know. And you can't remember either. So you and me are fantastic. It could be. I literally cannot remember anything. So I don't know if it's about the one in Southampton. But it could be. Viliska Murder House. Is that the famous murder house? Like that really big one? Hats are great. Yes, they are. I'm going to look at that now. Viliska Murder. Is that the Axe Murder one? Right, where it's like, was it like 8 people killed or something like that in Iowa? Is it that one? Because the house looks cool. Well, I'll say it looks scary, not cool, but I have no idea what those symbols mean. What is this? XS. No, did he really? I did not know that. Was it natural? Ronald DeFeo Jr. From Forsberg. Jesus, that's some history dying. Long, 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 long time ago. And that's one of my favorite like haunted stories. I still don't know if I still don't know because that house is weird. Because like there are hundreds of people that keep going there and say like there's nothing there. So, but it is one of the most intriguing ones, and I think that's probably because it's one of the most famous ones as well. To be honest, but you know what I mean. Axe Murder House in Iowa. Yeah, I thought it was that one. That's a crazy story. That's like, was it 6 family members and 2 house guests? I think, which is nuts. And you know, an act like that is crazy in general, but like with an axe as well, that's like ridiculously personal. Like, that is up close. That is as close as you're gonna get. Crazy, crazy stuff. Well, I think that's it for today. 50 minutes, we'll call it there. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your questions, David. Thank you for joining me. And again, pleasure to meet you. Obviously, followed you back on Twitter. And Chris, I will speak to you later on. V, thank you for coming in earlier today. I know you're not here anymore. Thank you for that. Lexi, if you're still here, thank you for that. I'll be probably going to do these like once every 2 weeks, maybe, just have a good chat and hopefully get some more people in the room next time. But thank you for joining me. It's an absolute pleasure. We'll probably get some more topics. I'll probably speak about actual haunted places next time, and maybe we can discuss the validity of them in the next chat. So without further ado, if you haven't already, please follow my links down below or on the bottom of the screen here. As you can see, it will say my YouTube link there. I know that you guys are already following me. That's for people that watch the reruns. So thank you very much. And I'll see you all next time. And yeah, stay safe, stay spooky. And yeah, love you very much, Spook Squad. Peace.